Hello viewers and students, I welcome you in my YouTube channel at lecture series on income tax laws. Friends, in last lecture we have discussed what is concept of tax, the characteristics of tax. Today we are going to discuss the concept of fees, the characteristics of fees and difference between tax and fees. Friends, in last lecture we have discussed that taxation is compulsory contribution to government and it is paid without any specific expectation of benefits from the government. But the concept of fees or the payment of fees is totally different from payment of tax. So we must see what is concept of fees. See friends, as we have discussed, tax is compulsory contribution, but a fees is a voluntary contribution to government or any authority for the special services rendered by it. See what the basic difference you can find here also. The fees is voluntary payment which is made to government, authority, etc. whosoever renders services. And as in tax or in payment of tax, there is no specific return of benefit, but here when you pay fees, the person to whom fees is paid or the authority to whom fees is paid, it confers on you a specific benefits. There is direct relation between the amount paid by you and what the benefit provided to you. Therefore, a payment which is made to professional person, professionals, public body, etc. in exchange of advice or in exchange of service is called as a fees. So fees is not the compulsory payment, and the payment of fees is dependent upon desire, will of that person. If anybody wants to avail any advice, any service, any benefit, then he is required to pay the fees. We must see what are the characteristics of fees. If you go through the concept, you can find certain characteristics of fees. The first characteristic of fees is the payment of fees is optional. It is voluntarily. So it is not like that in payment of tax. If you are made liable to pay tax by particular enactment, then you cannot deny to pay it. It is not voluntary, it is compulsory. But here the payment of fees is not compulsorily, it is optional, and its payment is dependent upon whether you want to avail something or not, whether you want to get benefit from the particular authority or not. If you want to get, then you have to pay the fees. If don't want, for example, as like any exam fees, etc. If you want to appear for an examination, you have to pay the fees. If you don't want, you are not required to pay it. Then second characteristic of fees is it is paid for enjoyment of service or advice. So the fees is always paid for enjoyment of any service or to get any advice. That advice may be professional advice, that may be medical, etc. whatever the advice is. So that is paid as a consideration to get something for something. You pay money and for that you get advice, services, etc. The next essential of fees is The fees also can be imposed to regulate government activities, services for public. See, there are many services, there are many government activities of providing services that are provided by government, and therefore the government, to regulate such activities, has to impose certain fees, has to collect fees from those persons who want to get benefit from such services, activities. For example, the licenses, many licenses, such license fees is imposed to regulate particular activity, licenses to do anything. There are many things for doing of which you should get the license from particular authority. Then next essential or the characteristic of fees is there is direct quid pro quo relation between fees payer and benefit conferred in return. See, as the fees is voluntary payment, again the payment is dependent upon the option, and when you pay fees you can ask, you should get the benefit, surely you always get benefit there. And here the authority to whom you pay the fees, you can ask them what the benefits they are going to give. So there is direct quid pro quo relation. It means something for something, you must get something for something. You pay fees and for that purpose you must get the benefits, specific form of benefits, specific form of services. For example, if you pay exam fees for university, then you are allowed to appear for examination. It is duty of university to conduct your examination, to evaluate what the paper you have written, what the examination you have appeared, and to declare the results. So these services they are going to provide. So this is direct quid pro quo relation between tax payment, fees payment, and what the benefit you get. Then next characteristic is the fees is imposed by statutory or executive power. So the fees can be imposed even by statutes also, it can be imposed by executives also, it can be delegated. Power to levy fees, power to collect fees, it can be delegated by government to any statutory body, etc. Now we must see what is difference between fees and tax, or the tax and fees. See, for that purpose the first difference is tax is compulsory contribution but fees is voluntary contribution. See, the tax is compulsory contribution, you have to pay the tax, and if you fail to pay tax, action can be taken against you for non-payment. But in a fees, that is not. If you want to avail service, you have to pay. If you do not want to avail the service, you are not required to pay the fees. For example, just I have given you the example of examination fees. If you want to appear for exam, you have to pay fees. If you do not want to appear for examination, it is not necessary to make the fees, exam fees. Then second difference is in payment of tax, there is absence of direct quid pro quo relation between taxpayer and the authority to whom the tax is paid. You cannot ask, or there is no relation of give and take. You give the tax, and for that consideration government do not directly confer any benefit upon you. You may be indirect beneficiaries of the activities that are done out of the amount of tax proceeds, but you cannot directly claim something, what benefit that you are going to give. That is not the thing. But in a fees, there is direct quid pro quo relation. It means there is a relation between what the amount paid and what something you got, and that something should be specific. The government guarantees service, a government or whatever the authorities to whom you pay the fees, it guarantees something specific service to you. Then third difference is the fees is imposed to regulate or control various types of activities. So the fees is always levied, collected with certain objectives, specific objectives should be there. But in tax payment there is no specific activity. The amount of tax can be used for any purpose because it goes to consolidated fund of India, and that amount can be used for various purposes without specifying any particular purpose. Then the next difference is the fees is imposed to regulate what etc. I have told you. The next difference is the purpose of tax is to raise revenue. Basically, I have already explained it in last lecture that what is the purpose of uh, tax, because tax, imposition of tax, it is a source to raise revenue fund for government activities, but fees is not the source of raising fund revenue for government. So it can be amount that is imposed to regulate particular activities or to recover the cost of services that are provided by government to public at large. So this is the specific purpose for which the fees is imposed. Then taxes are mandatory charges while fees is voluntary. We have already discussed that. It is compulsory. So compulsion means mandatory, and the payment of fees is not compulsory. It is not mandatory. So when that person do not want to enjoy particular, or he do not want to get particular service, nobody can compel you to get the services or to pay for that service. So it is dependent upon whether you enjoy the particular service or not. Then next is tax is obligatory exaction of money by government for public welfare. So what the amount of tax, that is compulsory payment, and that is necessary for public welfare, that is necessary to bond or to meet with government expenditure, that is necessary for public at large, or that is necessary for government's functioning. But the fees is special form of contribution, donation, that is extracted from special group of peoples for certain services. For example, see the license to driving license, the fees is recorded only from those persons who want to drive drive the vehicles etc. as per the rules of government. The person who do not want to drive the vehicle, he is not required to pay any kind of, he is not required to obtain license also, and he is not required to pay license fees. So, similarly there are many license, so you can find there what is the nature of that license, and dependent upon that nature whether that person is required to pay or not. So friends, in short, the tax is compulsory contribution towards government, but the fees is the voluntary payment to avail any services, benefits etc. So friends, if you like my video, please share it with your friends, please share it, spread it, and do not forget to subscribe my channel. So friends, thank you.